On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Much is happening in the world. President Trump, the tariffs, all the stuff people are freaking out about. We've got a lot to talk about. I think the deep state, they make a lot of the noise, and they're the ones that are most freaked out about the tariffs. The tariffs are going to affect them. They're trying to pass the costs directly on to consumers, which is a little funny because that's generally not how the tariffs work. Tariffs are more middlemen. So we've literally got companies taking advantage of it. One of them was allegedly going to take advantage of it and then said, no. But anyways, we're going to talk about all that. But one of them definitely taking advantage of it. And again, we as a country are addicted to cheap goods. And this is going to be the hard part because ultimately you're trying to wean a drug addict off of a drug by making the drug more expensive. And and here we are. And that's exactly what we are going to have to work through. A lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. Got some fun stuff to start with as normal. I just think this is kind of funny. Like, first off, the picture. All right, this is supposedly Congressman Sri Thenadar. He's a Democrat from Michigan. He's the one that's insisting that Trump needs to be impeached, probably arrested too. But the first thing I saw, I don't know about you guys, but the first person that made me think of, and it just kind of cracked me up, is Dave Chappelle, right? His white man character. I don't know if I can get any of these to make big pictures. This one might. It just cracked me up. His white man character just, to me, kind of looks like him. I don't know. Maybe let's go back to him one more time and see if you guys agree or disagree, right? Whoops. Oh, really? Screwed that up. Nice. There we go. Right? What do you think? I don't know. A little bit. That's just me, maybe. Not saying all people look the same. Cory Booker literally called Michelle Obama's husband to her. This thing claims twice. I don't know if I heard it the second time. Definitely heard it the first time. He says it really after, as people are like clapping or some shit. I think he says it again, but whatever. Check it out.
And I want you all to know I miss Obama. I miss Obama. I miss Obama. I miss Obama, and I miss her husband too. I miss her husband, but Michelle. So this was my second favorite Obama on the phone. It was President Barack Obama, and he was in the Oval Office, and it was a beautiful call.
Now, what he could be saying, or likely is saying, and again, people like to take things out of context, I think. I think he was referring to Michelle Obama, and he really likes Obama, and I think he's kind of talking about her, this person that he just talked to, and he likes her husband, which is Barack. But again, we hear what we want to hear. It is what it is. I've actually finally kind of gotten around some of this. Like, yeah, people are going to see what they're going to see, and I can't do anything about that. Like, I can only do what I can do. And that was kind of the thing that came to me this morning. It's like, you can only do what you can do, Dan. And so there's zero reasons to worry about anything outside of that. And that made me feel so much better. So much better. And hopefully, if you take on the same sort of process, you'll realize, yeah, you can only handle what you can handle. You can only change what you can change. And the things that are there that are outside of your control, you got to stop worrying about it. Because that's just how it is. It's like the weather, you know? It's raining outside. It makes me so mad. Like, you know, it just doesn't serve a purpose to do that. Bill criminalizing deepfake revenge porn has passed the House and is heading to the Trump desk. Not surprised, Rep. Thomas Massie voted no. There was 409 people that voted yes. Reps Thomas Massie and Eric Burleson, they were the two sole no votes, both Republicans. Find that interesting. Again, this is a weird bill just in the big picture. I get it, but if it's a fake, this is one of the things that I think they're putting real people's faces on fake bodies, and so because of that, it makes it look real, and because it looks real, it must be real. Again, this is one of these weird places where if something's not really real, you know, is it a crime? And, you know, I just think it's a fun thought experiment. Some people get really pissed off when you ask questions, though. This is like 9/11 was the same way. You were a traitor if you questioned the narrative. So, again, it's still like that. There's so many people that, you got to think the same way or else. And I'm not going to. That's what happens. I'm just not going to do that. I don't care. Net zero madness. Spain's reliance on solar energy is being blamed for this big giant blackout. actually saying that the solar energy itself, one, when it starts to come online during the day, it starts to come on in such a way that's pretty intense. And there's some problems with the integration of that. And this is maybe where they're getting these weird phases, if you will, or this odd timing that was causing a problem. And one thing many people don't understand about electricity, and I mean, I'm not an expert, but I definitely took my E&M class in physics when I was younger. And here's the thing. Alternating current. This is what we use. This is the thing that was the big fight between Tesla and Westinghouse, and Tesla lost. So they went to AC. Tesla was all about DC. DC is what most people think of electricity. Most people think of electricity like a battery. That's DC direct current. And that's where electrons literally flow through a wire. And eventually they get to the light bulb and bleep, and they get used in the light bulb, and then that electron kind of continues back around the circuit. In AC, they don't really move. AC's alternating current. They move every 60 times a second. They shift back and forth. They alternate current. They go back and forth. They never go anywhere. They literally just go back and forth inside those high voltage lines. And then what you do is you put a transformer below it, which is a big magnet wrapped with a bunch of wire. And then as magnetic fields move over that, it causes AC, it causes electricity to flow. It just creates power. It's pretty cool how it works, frankly. And the fact that it's alternating back and forth 60 times a second is how it creates its AC current from the transformer. And that's why they use high power lines, because you need the extra power, because that transformer kind of bleeds off some of that energy, if you will. And so that's kind of how it works. And a lot of people think that, power travels from the generator all the way down to, wherever your home, right? And then comes inside your home and feeds back to the power station or something. And again, it doesn't work like that. But so this is how we've got this 60 hertz thing. This is my point, kind of. And so when solar comes in, I think it actually threw that off. It threw it off sync. So if, half of your stuff's over every 60 seconds, and then the other half's clicking at a different time, right? And then you start to get out of sync. And if I was a better drummer, I would get those, in between each other and make it even worse. And that's basically what they're saying happened. Now, was the sun doing some crazy stuff at that time? Yes. Not major crazy. Someone kind of misquoted Ben. I went back to his show, and he's like, he basically said nothing was, but we are having some weird, one, we had some wind coming from the coronal hole still, I think. Two, we had a strange flare that popped off. It looked like we got an ejection, but there was no updated information to suggest that, so that could have hit us at that time. And also, again, our magnetic field's doing some weird stuff, and he did a show last night. I got about halfway through it. He's been a little bitchy lately since him and his girlfriend or wife broke up. And I feel bad for the dude. I've been there before, and it's really, really hard. So, all said, we're all going through a lot right now. And this poor guy is too. So, again, a lot going on with that story. I don't know. There were some discussions. Jordan Sather brought up some cool stuff. Again, Red Electra has warned in February that this risk of disconnections due to renewable energy. They've been talking about this problem they have with solar for a while. This is no huge surprise to anybody. Yet, again, here we are. Now, Jordan Sather brought up this. Tucker had on what is her name? Catherine Austin Fitts. She's not necessarily, she's awesome. She's been in, if I understand correctly, she's like, I don't want to say it that way. She's a good researcher. She's been involved in a lot of the woo stuff. And she's just been around the block when it comes to this kind of information for a very long time. Tucker had her on his show. And in that show, they talked about deep underground bases, trillions of missing government dollars, free energy breakthrough, or free energy, and we're going to share that video. Also, secret space programs and the magnetic pole flips, which I've been screaming about. And they seem to be accelerating drastically in what we're experiencing with the Aurora Borealis coming in lower and lower and lower. And you know that by the colors, by the way, for those of you that are like, how do you know? When it's more in the colors like Roy G. Biv, red, orange, green, yellow, blue, indigo, violet. I hope I got that right. In that right order anyway. The closer to red the colors get, the closer to the surface of the planet the solar rays are. When they're up in that indigo violet range, which is what a lot of them are, greens and indigos and violets, it's reasonably far away from the planet. But when it comes down closer, you start seeing the yellows and the oranges and the reds. And that is because it's gotten significantly closer to the land. We're also finding that they're coming much, much further south. These are some of the things that, one, suggest that we are in a global or a global shape, roundish shape, a bowl-shaped, whatever. Like it implies that just because of these scientific facts. Like they're things that people can witness and see. You can actually stare at the sun and see solar flares and flashes. You don't even have to trust the government. So there's a lot you can do. Here is her talking about free energy. I pulled this up. I'm going to eventually watch this, maybe later today. We'll see if I have some time. But it sounds like an interesting interview, and I've been following Catherine's work for a long time. I keep wanting to. I'm not going to say it, though, because it's just I was going to put somebody else in a bad light. So anyways, Catherine Austin Fitts, I've reasonably good things to say about her. All said. Here is this bit with her talking about this stuff.
So, but you believe that there's a whole constellation of underground bases built by the U.S. government in the United States. Like that fact alone, just the physical infrastructure of it, because normally talk about what are they doing?
It's enormously expensive.
What's unbelievable. And like it raises lots of practical questions. How do you ventilate them? What about food and water supply?
Where's the energy? Are we using breakthrough energy or?
Where's the energy come?
Right. Because I'm sure that we have the ability to produce breakthrough energy at very low cost. If you go back
Why
and
are you sure of that?
My Dutch partners, I met because they were doing a series of conferences on breakthrough energy. And they brought together breakthrough energy inventors from around the world. And, you can see all the videos up on the internet and really went through the history from Tesla on of different inventors who have discovered and claimed different innovations with breakthrough energy. And I'm convinced that this energy exists. And I'm also convinced if you look at a lot of the really fast ships, flying around the planet, that they're not using classical electricity.
They're not using.
Right. So,
they're not running on diesel.
Right.
And again, there's been all sorts of eyewitnesses, whistleblowers, whatevers that have talked about this. Again, we have no hard proof outside of eyewitnesses, firsthand accounts. And some places have talked about it, or people have talked about it and end up losing their lives, which sometimes bodes towards the proof of it, I guess, to a degree. U.S. Treasury unexpectedly reports sharp drop in debt borrowing needs. What this implies, which was actually pretty cool. There's a bunch of crap in here, but the one takeaway on this is actually that DOGE is actually making a difference. In fact, the Treasury reported that its borrowing needs, right? So it has to borrow money to continue moving forward. Their borrowing estimate is $53 billion lower than announced in February. Back in February, they thought they would need to borrow $53 billion more than they do. And many are attributing that success to likely DOGE. So it's a huge positive on that. Government job openings plummet to 5-year low as total hires and quits jump. I find this to be an excellent statistic. It means DOGE is, in fact, doing what it's supposed to. The number of government jobs has gone down significantly. It's actually been one of the things that's really helped pump the economy up, especially during Joe Biden's reign. That was one of the things he was doing, is he kept pumping up government jobs. So it was running us even more debt, but it was making the employment numbers seem better than they actually are. Government jobs are really one of the worst forms of jobs, really, because they take that taxpayer money that the government steals from us once and then literally pays for somebody else to work. Now, granted, they get a little bit of that employee's money back when they steal it from them, but it was all stolen money to begin with. So that entire job is funded by stolen money. In some cases, it's through fees and other crap, but stolen money, as far as I'm concerned. However you got it, you took it from someone, right? So if you're a government agency or whatever, and you're charging fees for stuff that you force me to have to do, yeah, something's not right here, is it? Right? If I have to have a driver's license, then why don't you just give me one? Why do I got to pay for it? Why is that got to happen? Right? Like some strange stuff if you kind of think about the way our system is built, and it's what it's supposed to be. Frankly, we're just not supposed to question it. Conference Board consumer expectations plunged to 14-year lows. So, again, there's this big discussion about inflation expectations are soaring. They're based off of, well, figures, but most people have no idea how to assess what Trump is doing right now. Tariffs haven't really existed, at least to level the playing field, ever. I mean, this is crazy attack. And so the deep state and everybody else is playing this out like this is the worst possible thing that could happen. This is the wrong thing to do, right? But really what the wrong thing to do would have been to continue what we've been doing, which is what they want us to do. So obviously that's not the right direction. And they're screaming about what Trump's doing, and they're threatening, essentially, to destroy pensions. That's really the threat. They're threatening to destroy pensions if Trump keeps doing what he's doing. But Trump's like, I'm going to do what I'm doing, and I think we'll get the pensions back, and I'm willing to take that hit for 3 months or 2 months or whatever. Now, July keeps showing up as a big line in the sand. Oh, yeah, this is one thing that was kind of an interesting graph. This labor market conditions weekend extension. Let's see, Conference Board Consumer Confidence Labor. So that's dropped a lot. But when we go back, let's see, there was a big drop during COVID, and then it slowly went back up until Trump got out of office, and then it started declining, and it's still declining with Trump in office. But likely we'll see some of these graphs actually start to kind of move in a better direction. I also thought it was kind of interesting how it's continually grown since 2009. It looks like, well, when it started, roughly. So yeah, a lot of volatility. Just everything is getting crazy right now. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. Literally, the news is changing in the middle of the day. I'm going to show you the graph for the market. It'll crack you up. I mean, it did me. It is so ridiculous. It's like, in one day. Normally, that's a week-long graph if it's crazy. Right now, we are so volatile, we're freaking all over the place daily. Just takes some stupid news to come out and everybody freaks out because nobody knows how to handle this situation, which is kind of cool, frankly. And honestly, too, there are, people that are essentially trillionaires and uber billionaires. They got gobs of money in stocks. They don't know what to do with it right now because stocks aren't a good place. You can't really put it in crypto because if any big player pulls out of crypto, it instantly F's up the price. If any big player gets into crypto, it instantly jacks the price up. And so crypto's kind of volatile too, especially when you're talking about billionaires and up. So these guys' stock markets are one of the only places they can go. And it's a tough place to be right now. And they also don't know how these tariffs are going to affect. They can't even necessarily jump to another market someplace because Trump's fucking with those things too. I think this is all part of the plan, frankly. The way it's affecting everybody, and it's creating this situation. It's kind of leveling the playing field for all of us. I'll tell you this, if the stock market tanks hard enough, any of you guys that have a little bit of money, you should buy some stock when it hits the bottom. That's when you buy. That's what you do. When stocks go down, you buy. But we're also, and again, this is what these guys keep trying to do the rules, right? Oh, when they go down, you buy. And they've been going, it's going down, and they start buying, it goes back up, and then it comes back down because they're moving quantities of money. And frankly, I think a lot of people are probably on the wrong end of it. Earnings reports have been coming out. They haven't been as high as they're supposed to. It's like just a lot of stuff's happening. Asian imports to the U.S. are plunging, they're saying. Pretty strong word, but again, that's what you get sometimes when certain sources like to emotionalize things. So they use words like plunge. But this is it. I mean, it's meant to scare people. And, scared people do stupid things generally. That's how it usually works. We've been talking about this for a long time. It seems to be finally happening. China extends its suspension of U.S. liquid natural gas imports. We raised tariffs, or since the tariffs started with them, they immediately stopped buying any liquefied natural gas from us. They've probably got other sources that they can get it from, so that's cool. That's cool. So again, this is a big war going on with China, and China's having a lot of hard times on their own. And there's a lot of questions as to whether or not it's a game of chicken, folks. This is what it comes down to. Trump and Xi Jinping are literally heading at each other full steam ahead. And we're going to see who blinks first, basically. Anywho, Scott Passent talking. Somebody asked, crazy question about this Amazon stuff, right? Amazon and putting the tariff price and adding it in. And Amazon, most of the crap Amazon gets is from China. So Amazon's another one that's having a tough time. And after this discussion, literally their stock price went down like 2%. Right after this secretary address, literally Amazon's stock price went down 2%. Volatile world is happening.
Reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Is Jeff Bezos still a Trump supporter?
Look, I will not speak to the president's relationships with Jeff Bezos, but I will tell you that this is certainly a hostile and political action by Amazon. And Secretary, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I would also add that the bringing down the terrible Biden inflation has been a priority for the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and President Trump has done a great job of leading that since January 20th. Interest rates, mortgage rates are down, gasoline and energy prices are down. We're expecting the further decreases. And as Caroline said, the big tax on consumers that goes unnoticed is deregulation or regulation, and we are deregulating and bringing that down. So, from a household income point of view, we would expect real purchasing increases. We've seen them over the first 100 days, and we would expect that to accelerate. We are doing peace deals, trade deals, tax deals, and deregulating. And the deregulation is a longer lead time, but I think by the third and fourth quarters, that's really going to kick in.
And remember, the deep state does not want us doing what we're doing. The deep state does not want us removing the IRS. The deep state does not want us removing the Fed. The deep state does not want us to stop doing what we've been doing. This is why they're fighting so hard. Amazon denies the report that tariff costs will be shown next to the product prices. They said this is something they're doing in some other product at some other place, Europe or something like that. They said we were not going to do it here, whatever. Richard Grinnell's like, how about displaying up front where the product is made? Amazon is almost all made in China. It's also a good point. But yeah, Amazon, it was a punch bowl news, so we don't even know if it was accurate, but whatever the case is, it hurt Amazon literally 2%. Their stock went down. They had to come out and say, no, this is not true. White House calls Amazon's decision pretty horrible, right? So shares of the online retail giant founded by Jeff Bezos dropped more than 2% in pre-market trading following the remarks. So yeah, we've got extraordinary volatility. Now here's Temu. I don't buy any shit from Temu. I do from Amazon. I am guilty as charged, but and no pun intended. And again, if the prices go up, I'll probably start buying elsewhere. Like think of the mystore.com/OTF. That's all American-made stuff on my store that Lindell's doing. So highly recommend if you guys make products, you reach out to Lindell and try to get on his network also. But all said, Temu has been adding the import charges. And they're charging the customer directly the 125% tariff, which means China's basically saying, F you, we're not going to eat it. Or the middlemen are saying, F you, we're not going to eat this tariff. You guys are. You're going to pay us what you were going to pay us, and then you just charge the customer. But here's the thing. Customers won't pay this, typically. I mean, if they decide they want to. They found something that had been discounted so heavily. Normally it's $83.87, but it's today, just this one day only offer, We're going to knock $61 off of that price. Yeah, what? You thought we were making that up? No, we're knocking off 2/3 the price. Actually, 3/4 probably. $22.18. Well, that's quite a bargain. Que ganga, as they would say in Spanish. What a bargain. Es un buen ganga para mí. But import charges $31.44, so more than the price. You've got charges. And by the way, they don't base that off of this charge and then discount that down. They took the final charge and charged 125%. That's where you get that number. Just saying. Well, it looks like that's about what they did. Oh, $6 plus 6, 8. No, so it's more than that. It actually does sound like they, it does sound like they actually took it from that big number and tried to discount it down. And so you're paying more than 125%. Isn't that lovely? Again, people want to pay it. People can pay it. If they don't want to pay it, they're not going to pay it. United States, if they got a bunch of crap that's just sitting in warehouses over here, then they're paying money to just store it. Again, this is a fun little game. We'll see how America responds. So here, like I said, the graphs are awesome. All right, so here's the start of the day, way down over here. Oops, wait, hang on, get back over here, Dow. Get down. All right, so it started low and then went up, went way down, went way up, down again, up, right? So it's having an up day. That's cool. Gold, let's see what gold was doing. Yeah, gold started high and then, it kind of took a killing and then leveled out roughly. It's all good, 3,300. It's still super high. It went up like 200 points like really early on, like 2-3 weeks ago. And then it went up even another 100, but then it came down and up and came down, but it's still sitting at solid 33.5 pretty much. That's pretty big deal. Oil's been down a lot. Now, again, a lot of people are talking about, oh, this is crazy. How's this happening? Some of it is because of us, the United States. We're producing oil now. That affects the price of oil. Trump and them don't want to talk about that, but it is. OPEC Plus doesn't like it. And then we raised our production. We made it more, I think we opened up drilling in a different way where they could drill horizontally or something like that in the Gulf of America. So because of that, we're finding even more gold. All said. There is a BRICS meeting that's happening in Rio de Janeiro in July. There's a few things that seem to be coming to head in July. I just let that date set there for you. July is not far away. I don't know what's going to happen, but we know the deep state's supposed to come down. So what happens with BRICS, don't know. I've initially thought that BRICS would be a good test for an alternate system. I don't know. I don't know if that's still what it is or not. Like, I just don't know anymore when it comes to the financial world. I know Trump's fighting for the dollar, but I don't think the Fed dollar, the Federal Reserve note, should survive. But then do we do some sort of weird exchange for new currency? And then at some point they're like, all right, you got 90 days to give us any of the Federal Reserve notes you have that were printed after this particular date. If you have those, we'll give you, 60 cents on the dollar or something, or whatever it ends up being. And there'll probably be something with gold, and oil's going to be one of the assets we're probably going to back our currency by. I think we're going to back it by the assets we have, mines and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's partially why Trump is making sure we've got a bunch of mines open, because those are additional assets that we can back our currency with. Products, things that matter, physical things, not just bullshit, which is what our Fed Reserve note, petrodollar, has been. I don't trust their system at all. And I recommend that if you've got a 401k or an IRA, which are the few things that you actually have some control over, I would recommend considering, certainly diversifying. I'd actually consider getting the hell out. That's just my thing. That's not what Goldco recommends, by the way. They don't recommend doing more than 50%. And I'm not trying to give you financial advice. I'm telling you how I feel about it. Unless I am very specific with the few stocks that I have, which I am. There's a few stocks I own. Rumble's one of them. I just a couple things, right? And that's one thing. To be in a fund that's managed by someone just random, that's a whole different thing in my opinion. Now, pensions, if you're in a pension, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do. And that's something I would think is a little suckage. But at this point in time, hopefully they're doing the best to manage for their people. They know we're going through a crazy time, and they're probably freaking out. And there's a lot of DEI stuff going on in pension funds, and they're Again, they were funding Tesla, and then Tesla took a major hit. Would probably love to see Tesla come back, because if they sold those Tesla shares in order to make a point, then all of their pension holders just lost a crap ton of money. And that might be the point of some of this, is to show how much or how little they care about you. Take it into your own hands. Empower yourself. Know that you've protected yourself, and then when everything starts getting crazy, you can sit back with your hands on your lap and smile because you know you're prepared. DRSlikesGold.com. DRSlikesGold.com. My good friends at Goldco. They may not believe all the crap I talk about, but they're extremely good at helping through this process. They're awesome. That's why I partnered up with them that's 3 years. I think it's my 3-year anniversary right now. I've been with Goldco, and I've never gone with anyone else, and I never will. I love Goldco. Love them. I love how they take care of you guys. I love how they have access to more suppliers. I love how they give you the highest price buyback guarantee. I love the fact that they'll give you up to 10% free silver, which is so undervalued right now. Up to 10% of free silver of your face value. And they'll even give you some other cool little trinkets, half-ounce silver coins worth, I don't know, about 15, 6, 7, 18 bucks. Ronald Reagan's on it. It's 0.999% pure. You get a Donald Trump book. You get your gold and silver kit. And you get the best customer service you could hope for. Go to DRSlikesGold.com. DRSlikesGold.com. Don't stay in that system. Let these guys help you get out of it. There's a lot that goes into it. There's many, many, many steps. Get your documentation for your Fidelity or whoever the heck it is. Get your information, get it ready, put in your 4 data points, be ready to call them within 20 minutes, or at least you don't have to have it, like you gotta be able to sign on the paper dotted line. It's not how it works. There's processes. There's places where signing will happen. Ultimately, you've got some time to think about it. You got time to ask questions, but certainly be ready to move because, I don't know, July, plus all the other stuff that's going to go up leading into that, plus the war with China and us, plus the fact that we've got India, Pakistan, we've got Iran, Israel, we've got, right? Sorry, there's too much volatility for me. DRSlikesGold.com. DRSlikesGold.com. Good piece of gold right here. Couple silver pieces. Love these things, man. It's awesome. They're beautiful. DRSlikesGold.com. Get out of their system while you still can, or as I like to say, before they get out of you, which, sounds kind of gross nowadays. House GOP is gearing up for Trump's big, beautiful budget brawl. This is expected to finish, he's hoping, Speaker Johnson saying, by Memorial Day. Literally, like basically a month from now. So this is going to be another contentious thing. We're talking about billions of dollars. We're talking about the fact that there are some Republicans, massy bastard, that don't want to support anything that we're doing. So we'll see how it plays. It's going to be kind of crazy. One of the things that's going to show up inside this budget is this new F-15EX. By the way, it's so weird to see an F-15 that literally doesn't have any of the hard points on it, like just a naked F-15. It doesn't even have a center fuselage fuel tank. This thing's just naked. It's awesome. I don't know if it's a brand new one or what. It's a trainer. That's probably why it's naked. I don't think. Yeah. I think they're not normally tandem, right? I believe they're normally single-seater, I think. Anyway, whatever the hell. They're talking about buying a bunch of those, $3.1 billion of increased production. This, for those of you that don't know what the F-15EX is, and this is a brilliant idea, is what they're going to do is they're going to take the F-15, which is arguably one of the best platforms ever made. Ever. It's just incredible. The F-16 is fantastic, and its maneuverability, fantastic. This thing, just distance, speed, power, and an ability to hold weapons. This thing can hold a crap ton. It's a tank. So what they want to do is they want to load it up with a bunch of like air-to-air weapons, for example. A bunch. Like a whole bunch of, a couple extra hard points of air-to-air weapons. AMRAAM's possibly better because I know we've got some that are starting to go in longer ranges. And then what you do is you use your stealth fighters, and they're the ones that kind of mark people, find them. And they can do it through these other people using active radar. The stealth picks up on where the active radar is, so it never has to ping out, if you will. Ping's more of a sonar term, but it doesn't have to ping out, so they don't know about you. But they receive the ping from them, and they know all about you. And so what they do is they send that through an encrypted communication back to this F-15EX. F-15EX is out of sight, out of range. and is able to launch those missiles without ever locking on with radar themselves either. And so this becomes a very stealthy attack. And if you don't get locked on with radar, you don't get that noise. It's the second that the radar missile goes active and starts pinging your plane that they normally get in a warning. If they can get that AMRAAM in there close enough to them before it goes active, they have very little time to react. And if they don't see the smoke trail coming, it's too late. So this is a great idea, especially for something that will buy us some time as we get our, the F-47 and its little stealth companions, till we get those up and running. And hell, technically we could make the F-15EX one of the companions of the F-47. So have the F-47 be the key, put some drone, basically, technology inside this F-15EX. You don't even need a pilot at that point. Load them up with as many weapons as you can, and break loose, or all hell will break loose. What did he say? Something like that. Department of Government Efficiency let us know about some fun stuff. Last week, Treasury went live with its first automated payment verification system. In total, $334 million in improper payment requests were identified and rejected due to missing budget codes, invalid budget codes, which would be like a payment was not linked to the budget, needs a budget code so it knows what budget to go against in accounting. Also, budget codes with no authorization, meaning the budget has already been fully spent. If that happens, those things get kicked back. And this is one of the things they've never even bothered to try to validate. And one of the many ways I'm sure they've been wasting and laundering money as well. $334 million in 1 week. It's $1/3 billion in 1 week. Just in payments they would have sent out without approval. Secretary Burgum, POTUS has been incredibly focused on what the problem is, and he's going to tell us about it. But frankly, I think Trump gets it better than a lot of people, especially Rand Paul. I'm a little pissed off at Rand Paul right now. He's going to have to really F up bad for me to dislike him to the level I do Massey. But he's getting there. He's heading in that direction. There's a couple places. Rand Paul, you're a doctor, dude. You're really good. Stay in your lane, man. You don't necessarily know finance. I think Trump probably knows it better than you. I certainly don't know it, but I'm a lot more open, it seems, than him. But whatever, we'll get there before I start beating up on the guy. Here's Burgum, Secretary Burgum talking about this stuff.
President Trump has been incredibly focused on energy because he understands that energy is not just one industry. It's the foundation of all other industries. The food on your table, the gas in your car, the clothes on your back all have an energy component. So to make America affordable again, to have prosperity here at home, and to actually bring peace abroad, because the conflicts that we're involved in overseas, whether it's Iran funding 24 terror groups, our adversaries are funding those efforts with illegal oil sales that the Biden administration failed to sanction. So President Trump is clear-minded on this. And then when we take a look at what's happening in Europe today, where there's 60 million people without power and complete chaos, President Trump is avoiding the Biden blackouts and brownouts that were potentially put right on our doorstep here because of the energy policies of the prior administrations going 180 degrees in the other direction with energy dominance. So President Trump, whether it's foreign investment coming to the U.S., whether it's reshoring manufacturing, whether it's inflation down, cutting red tape, including we working with President Trump, we cut just simple common sense red tape on offshore production in the Gulf of America. That's going to increase production 100,000 barrels a day. And it just takes a courageous president to say, look, we're going to make common sense rules here and stop punishing our energy industry.
Well, and it takes courage to keep your promises, because he's got a wall of opposition right now coming from the left.
It also takes courage to keep your promises, just to kind of go a little further, but to also be able to withstand the immediate blowback, the initial problem that will occur from doing the right thing. Reagan had to do it. Reagan had to worry about getting reelected. Trump doesn't have to worry about getting reelected, but he does have to worry about making sure we don't lose House or Senate in the next term. Now, I don't think we're going to. I think Trump's on pace. I think the deep state's trying to slow him down with the courts, but I think ultimately he's going to do what he's going to do, and they can't stop him with a lot of the stuff they're trying. And I can't wait till they try to stop the tariffs thing and get some district judge that says, you can't do that, so I'm going to put a hold on you or whatever. And there's no way. There's just no way a district judge can control the budgetary executive branch. It's just not possible. So we're heading to a constitutional crisis, without a doubt. And I don't know if the Supreme Court's waiting for Trump to fail, because I think John Roberts is possibly a pile of trash. We'll see. His chance to do the right thing is, well, it's already here, I think. We'll see how it plays out. U.S. Department of Labor posted these numbers. The first 100 days of Trump have been pretty freaking awesome. Now, again, the ABC News poll said that he's doing horrible. Worst poll numbers ever, says ABC. So who cares what ABC thinks? There's like literally probably 0 Republicans in that poll. But so far, he's added 345,000 jobs, secured $5.2 trillion in new investment in our country. Not us spending $5.2 trillion somewhere else, but literally somebody else, multiple people, spending it here. Revitalized American manufacturing, expanded apprenticeship opportunities for the skilled trade jobs of the future. I'll be honest, if I went back and did things again, I mean, I don't know. I love the DJ stuff I did, unquestionable. But I probably would have gone apprenticeship, man. I would have probably made more money in the big picture. But hindsight's 2020. I love what I'm doing. I'm here for a reason, right? It's not about the money, but it would have been a fun job. House GOP blocks Democrats from enforcing votes on signal scandal and a whole bunch of other crap. They literally pulled this off. It looks like even dickheads like Massey probably voted with us. They didn't say in here otherwise. They don't have like dickhead vote. I wish they did. That'd be awesome, because I just always expect to see dickhead there. But whatever. And I know that might be confusing. I was calling him, what did I call him? Oh, I was calling him Dr. It was a Fauci thumbnail I did the other day. I was referring to him as a monkey Richard. Anyway, I doubt nearly as many people found that as funny as I did. That's the sad part. I do so much of this for myself. Let's see. The effort to refill America's strategic petroleum reserve is underway. Trump's taken advantage of the low oil prices. Once again, a benefit to doing that. And frankly, just could be buying it straight from our own people, since there's tariffs on foreign oil, maybe, right? Like, all right, I'll just buy it from the 100 million barrels a day we're doing here in the United States, and yeah, no problem. Got this covered. So Trump has got this. Let's see. This is like the same story twice. No, it's just somehow going backwards. There you go. FBI is using polygraph tests to identify leaks to the media. We've been hearing about this. I don't know if this is necessarily new news or just maybe good to keep it on the burner, if you will. Make sure this stays nice and warm, ready for dinner when we get there, because we're getting there, that's for sure. That's for shizzle, as I would say. U.S. Department of Justice put this out. Only American citizens can vote in American elections. Thanks to our partnership, DOGE, this DOGE has charged an Iraqi man for illegal voting in the 2020 election. If you are a foreign national and vote in our elections, you will be prosecuted and probably get kicked out of the country. What else we got? Well, Secretary Kristi Noem put this out. In partnership with DOGE and ICE Gov, we arrested 2 Ukrainian nationals for illegally voting in the 2024 election. Under President Donald Trump, if you come to our country and break our laws, you will face the consequences. But I should have a chance to talk to the judge so the judge can not let you do this. Dude, you broke the law, and then you broke the law. Don't care what the judge says. We're done. We're kicking your ass out. Done. You weren't a citizen. You don't get all these rights. Due process is afforded to citizens. That's where the whole Supreme Court thing is going to be a fight. Talking about habeas corpus and all that. Well, that's your constitutional right, but do you get a constitutional right if you're not a citizen? No. At least that's my belief or understanding. Manhattan Supreme Court Judge Mary Rosado is the latest judge with a resume as a Democratic Party activist to rule against the Trump administration. Friday, she temporarily barred the opening of the immigration facility in Rikers Island, right? So this is not going over well. Obviously, Mayor Eric Adams was like, I'm going to keep fighting this because I, told Hoffman. What? I'm drawing a blank on the dude's name. Our Border Patrol guy. Hoffman? I think. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Close. Whatever. Hoffman, something. He's told him he's going to do this. Eric Adams wants to do this. We want to help and have a place where they can actually round up a lot of these illegals that are in New York because it's going to make it better for Eric Adams. But of course, that's being fought by the judge, also by the board, not the board, they call the board for New York, the council, right? The government not the student council, but the New York council or whatever. Like our Los Angeles has their own version. I'm drawing a blank. My poor brain right now is not handling the way government works at all. No. But yeah, Supreme Court Judge Mary Rosado ordered this issue, extended a temporary restraining order issued. So yeah, we'll see. Whatever. I mean, again, I don't know. To me, it's not a surprise to me in any way, shape, or form. It's like just another day. So that ends in Y, frankly. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. He's treating English as a backseat language jeopardizes roadway safety. This comes down to the fact that, and I kind of kept this on I don't know, I didn't bring it up. I didn't feel like it was a huge story, but they're bringing it back up. We've got this issue where they're like, you literally, to be a trucker in this country, you have to be able to speak English at least well enough, and then you're okay, right? It can be your second language, and you probably don't have to speak it super, super good, but you better be able to sort of speak it. Like if a cop pulls up, you need to be able to answer some basic questions. And they're kind of referencing more the people, obviously, that are truckers coming from Mexico. So I think this is some of that right now, and I think that a lot of that stuff is being taken advantage of. Truck drivers that are totally, that are sneaking through, that they're putting people on, that they're traffic, right? Like they're the cartels control. I mean, any number of things. There's so many different ways this stuff can go. Under Trump, the feds identified nearly 1,200 alleged terrorists in the U.S. so far. This goes into the Sinaloa cartel, the MS-13, the Tren de Aragua, all of those guys, especially since he added this Sinaloa cartel into that. So they've been able to identify 1,200 alleged terrorists illegally in the U.S. Now, here's the funny thing. They're not going to round them up with state troopers. They're going to round them up with military troopers, or at least process them through the DOJ, which will take away a lot of the abilities. And this is kind of funny, at least if not the story coming up shortly. But there's, there it is. Yeah, the DOJ argues deportations to El Salvador didn't violate court order against third country removals. He said, look, you can't send somebody to a country that they're not from. You have to give them due process if you're going to do that, because that could be dangerous, right? They might die. They might get killed. Who knows? They might be a country that absolutely hates people from that country, right? It'd be like sending Pakistanis to India. India is not going to treat them well, or vice versa, right? That's just probably not a good idea. So they sent Venezuelan gang members back to Venezuela. They didn't sidestep anything, they're saying. Obviously, the courts are going to be pissed. And they're going to probably try to change their orders just on the fly. They're like, well, we meant that too. So we're going to change our order. It's like, you can't really do that either. Like, so we're, this is going to be fun. I don't know. That's all I can say. I'm excited about it. President Trump signs 3 executive orders targeting illegal immigration and public safety. A slew of new actions includes boosting federal support for U.S. law enforcement offices in order to protect Americans, creating a formal list of sanctuary cities that the administration claims are in violation of federal law, and enforcing a rule that requires truck drivers to speak English. David Perdue has been confirmed. He made it through the Senate vote. He is going to be the top diplomat to China. That's interesting. We need that right now, don't we? So they finally got him pushed through. He is a Tennessee-based Dollar General, which they bought a lot of Chinese crap, by the way. So that kind of makes him somebody that's probably been to China a bunch of times to work some sweet deals. Probably even speaks Chinese. Wouldn't surprise me if David speaks Chinese. That would be the proper thing to do in the big picture. Want to remind you guys of course, Healthy Home. Love this product. I love it. Just love it. It has been treating me very, very well. Again, initially had a shoulder injury when I was younger. Was having issues, pain when working out. I just kind of knew it was, maybe arthritis or something like that, but it was annoying as hell. I literally started taking the Stem Active within 3 weeks. I didn't feel it anymore. And it kind of actually tripped me out a little bit because I was just like, I didn't notice it for like a day or two. And I'm like, wait, I haven't been feeling pain. And the Stem Active is amazing. It creates a higher amount of stem cells inside your body. That's what it does. It doesn't put stem cells in you, no, because those usually come from bad sources, usually aborted stem cells is where they usually come from, aborted tissue. It's disgusting. Stem active is actually stuff that causes your own body to produce more, just naturally. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can do the pills or you can get the gel. The stuff is amazing. If you got arthritis, if you're having issues with joints, if you're having issues with any sort of injuries at all, anything. Stem cells are the ones that can become any cell in the body. If your body needs, say, more lung cells right now because your lungs are kind of healing, literally stem cells run into the lungs and become lung cells. They can't ever be stem cells again. They're done being. They're forever going to be a lung cell or a muscle cell or a skin cell or a whatever cell. And that's how they work. So that's what boosting the number of them makes an enormous difference in your body's ability to just handle healing. It's incredible. And if you're feeling any sort of weirdness in any places, you're having inflammation in weird places, you'd be surprised what some good healing will do for you. Balance is a great emotional, hormonal support, I should say. And it doesn't do it by giving you hormones. That's also a bad thing. It does it by plant-based stuff that helps your body kind of properly deal with these changes as we get older. I do think this is more geared towards ladies. I have kind of decided I didn't want to buy any to try it. I just don't want to start growing boobs. I looked into it a little more, and it's just like, it sounds like this is for ladies. I know someone's telling me otherwise, and I like Lori. She's a sweetheart. She's going to be very involved, especially as we start helping some of you guys that have your own kind of, basically are executive members. And start pulling you guys into meetings every once in a while and see if you guys need any help. Something to keep in mind, I've sent emails to some of you guys. You guys never responded, none of you for that matter. So it might happen again. We'll send an email out and hopefully you guys will see it. But all said, it's a powerful product. It's very fun. If you do join, which I do recommend, you can join as a customer, you can join as a regular member, or you can join as an executive member. Executive membership, all it does is it requires you to buy one product, any product. It literally can be one thing, or there's some package deals. There's a whole lot of choices. Package deals are sweet because you could hook up with free shipping for forever. And that's one of the cool things. Secondly, you get the best prices. So when you join as an executive member, you get the best price too, on top of that. So free shipping, possibly. Prices, free shipping you're probably going to get. Just there's a number of different, I think it comes with it kind of, but there's a number of different products you can get, and you'll see the little perks. It's pretty cool how it works, and they're the same price. You don't pay anything extra. You're basically promising, I'm going to buy one thing right now, and you give some information, and bada bing, bada boom, you're in. You've got your own website if you want to talk about it with people. If not, you just get the best prices, and it's pretty awesome how that works. But you want to go to the shop tab. You want to check it out. And Amaze is collagen peptides. Fantastic. Prime also helps with energy. Incredible product. Love it. Nitric oxide booster. And then you've got Stem Active for your pets. And it's actually significantly less expensive than the one for humans. Recommend it too. If you got a pet that's gone through a surgery or injured itself or is maybe just old, needs some healing love, Stem Active is powerful stuff, and it does the same thing in your dog or cat as it does in humans. So check it out. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Once again, that's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make those healthy choices, and you will live longer. That's how it works. Just being healthy causes people to live longer. FEMA has been cleared of punishing pro-Trump hurricane victims. I don't know. There's a group that looked into this. Now, it's kind of funny in that I think most of us probably don't believe this, but whatever. A probe by FEMA's Office of Professional Responsibility, which makes me think this is someplace we haven't fired people appropriately yet. And I don't think we will now, but I think Trump found a way around this. We'll get there. But they found no evidence that this was a systemic problem, nor that it was directed by agency or field leadership. Now, this is true. It wasn't the field leadership, and it wasn't the agency. It was an individual at the agency in the corporate office that was telling people in the field to do this. That's where it came from. So this is also wishy-washy worded, but whatever. What is kind of funny is Trump, oh shucks, looks like I lost it, or never got to the story I was planning on getting to. There was a story where they were, yeah, this it is. Cool. Ooh, got lucky. I am proud to announce the formation of the FEMA Review Council, comprised of top experts in their field who are highly respected by their peers. It is my great honor to appoint to the council Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, Governor Greg Abbott, Governor Glenn Youngkin, former Governor Phil Bryant, Michael Whatley, Mayor Jane Castor, Kevin Guthrie, W. Nim Kidd, Sheriff Rosie Cordero Stutz, Mark Cooper, Bob Fenton, and Evan Greenberg. I know that the new members will work hard to fix a terribly broken system and help return power to state emergency managers who will help make America safe again. Congratulations to all. Massa, I guess we're doing now. Very cool. Make America safe again. Alleged would-be Trump assassin Ryan Ruth was speaking with a human trafficker on the WhatsApp app. That's definitely redundant. And they were talking about smuggling illegal aliens from Afghanistan. There was some talk about him trying to get a 50 caliber sniper and a rocket launcher and some other fun stuff. That would have been some crazy stuff. Poking a rocket launcher through try to take out a golf cart. What the hell is he going to do with that? Senate Grassley tells Patel FBI must release analysis on criminal referral of the Fusion GPS Nellie Orr stuff. So apparently Nellie Orr lied to Congress, the obstructive conduct, and argued that they need to declassify this and get this information to them. Most likely Patel will do that. It is kind of cool to have a transparent government agency now, isn't it? U.S. dismisses all authors of National Climate Assessment. There was 400 contributors to the 6th National Climate Assessment. He dismissed all of them. Apparently, we were either funding them or giving them credit they didn't deserve, but that's been dismissed, let's call it. I'm sure that's going to end up in court as well. But interestingly, eco-extremists should be tried under terror laws, says Sweden. Sweden's not having it anymore. People aren't having it anymore. People are tired of these eco-terrorists who, in all honesty, we don't even have real solid evidence that they're right. I know that people that are crazy on the left are going to be like, oh my God, how can you disagree with that? Well, it's because most of the scientists that you guys use are full of shit. And the studies they use are full of shit. They're just not good studies. There's a lot of questions that get asked and people just poo-poo them away or don't look into it. Now, if we had all of the facts and then we were able to demonstrate stuff, that'd be one thing. Secondly, our models that we use can't even do the current weather. The way climate is currently, our models don't predict. Our models don't even match what we experience right now. So our models aren't correct. Yet we run with them and tell people. And then now we've got children that have been brainwashed for, since I've been in school, they were trying to talk about this crap. We've been brainwashed. And I'm sure it's where a lot of my eco-friendly thoughts come from. And I do think it's better to not waste, right? But do I turn lights off when I leave the room? Yeah. Also, since I started paying the bill, I started doing that, so whatever. But they want to treat them like eco-terrorists. I like that. Eco-extremists, I say. Rand Paul says he has the votes to block Trump's Liberation Day tariffs in the Senate, he's saying. But it's not going to, he can't get it through Trump can veto it, and there's no way he can pass it. Also, the House isn't playing nice with Rand Paul right now. And again, I already said all my mean shit about Rand. I want to like the guy. He's bugging me on a couple things. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't want to pretend I even have a clue. California Democrat, they block a bill to make sex trafficking of minors a felony. Literally, sex trafficking of 16 and 17-year-olds. Sex trafficking. That would literally make the trafficking of minors a felony. And they once again, State Assembly refuses to pass it. The Democrats in the State Assembly, I should say. Because obviously, they're pro-trafficking people. Or, better way to put it, they're pro getting paid by the cartels. Yeah, I said it. That's my guess. Because they're pro-illegal immigration. They're pro-sanctuary cities, and they've obviously worked out a lot of deals for trafficking because obviously they're getting some money. They have to be. Because otherwise, who in their right mind would not say that should be a felony? They're not even saying get a life sentence. Nothing crazy or death sentence even. They're just saying it should be a felony. So what? In California, you'll go to jail for 3 months and then get out? I mean, again, it's just absurd that California is just retarded. Now, only because I live here. It seems crazy. But yeah, for most people, you're like, well, duh, of course you guys are that retarded. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Whatever. Miss Maine USA pageant is going to feature the first transgender competitor. Maine is going all in, guys. Going all in. Transgender individual in a beauty contest. You got some big hands there, sweetheart. Good God. No, I don't want to arm wrestle you. It's insane. Hey, any of you guys have no clue how England works? Me neither. But here's something that'll kind of help you get a grip on how it works. It's kind of cool.
You need to know your shits if you want to be British. For instance, horse shit means total nonsense, but bullshit means lies. Batshit means someone is insane, but ape shit means to become very angry or excited. Dog shit means something of poor quality, but chicken shit means weak or cowardly. Jack shit means zero or nothing, and dip shit means an absolute idiot. Tough shit means a lack of sympathy or you have no choice, but no shit means this is obvious. Holy shit means expressing surprise or shock, but the shit means someone or something that's excellent or perfect. Like this quiz will be the shit, and if you pass, you'll be the shit. So welcome to Britain, where everything is dog shit. And the government tell a lot of bullshit and do jack shit because they're dipshits and chicken shits, and that's not horse shit. So be prepared to say holy shit every day. No shit. Because everyone and everything are gonna make you go ape shit and bat shit at the same time. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Oh, will somebody let that goddamn sink in?
I wish somebody would let that sink in. That's pretty funny. What do we got here? This is Liberals retain power in Canada. They had their vote. Obviously, they got the Conservative leader was ousted, which the guy wasn't conservative anyway. And it looks like they're trying to shift further left, which, I don't know, to most of us here that are educated in the States, no offense to my honkers up north, but it just means you guys had your election completely, totally taken back over by the deep state. Whatever the case is, it looks like it was about 5,000 votes-ish between the two. And this was just for what? On Carleton, Ontario, riding electoral district by Liberal candidate. But what I don't understand is, I'm assuming this isn't the whole country that was voting, because that's not very many people. You guys have roughly, 35, 40 million, somewhere in that vicinity, people in Canada. How did only 80,000 people vote? How did that happen? That's kind of weird. Whatever. It's hopefully a smaller thing. Hey, we had a fighter jet fall off a carrier. Literally. Lost its seat, sank to the bottom of the ocean. Just fell off. Bye-bye. Now, here's the story, best we understand. Houthis, apparently, this is so weird. So the Houthis apparently fired a drone and a rocket at us. And this aircraft carrier, I assume it had some defensive mechanisms with them, but they were probably trying to get those in between the carrier and whatever. So they're Arleigh Burke of some kind, probably trying to get between the carrier and the incoming missiles. The carrier made an evasive turn. These things can actually turn reasonably sharp. At least I've seen some of the sea trial videos. And when they're empty, they move miraculously. So what was happening is they were using a hand tractor, basically, to pull one of these F-18s onto the elevator to get it up to the deck so they could take it off. And so in the process, while they were doing that, these evasive maneuvers happened. It caused the plane to essentially go sliding off the deck, underneath deck, and just went right off into the ocean. Blunk. And the guy, it took the handcart with him. The dude got out of the way. The pilot wasn't in the plane or got out of the plane. I don't know if they're normally in the planes when they go up the elevators. I would assume they get up on the deck, but I'm, again, not sure. Probably safer to get in them under the deck. And yeah, anyway, whatever the case is, I'm not sure exactly how that works. Yeah, they lost the plane in the process because the Houthis were shooting at us. That's where they can kind of call it a victory, I guess. But yeah, that's the case. That's the story. It's disturbing. It's bothersome. Man. Iran says the port blast was negligence. They are not saying it was anything else. They're saying it was negligence. They're not even trying to blame Israel, even though initially they did because it was so big. Maybe because they don't want to give credit. Maybe because they don't want to make it look like they got attacked again. Whatever the case is, Iran's playing it down. They're like, nah, we made some oopses and stuff blew up. And, it happens. Lesson learned. We won't do that again. Okay. Fireworks manufacturer in Iran. Their warehouse reportedly exploded in Iran. This, I believe, was today, the 29th. So this company is Avanar Persian. It's reported to be a fireworks and explosives manufacturer. They're based in Mehmeh, I like how it's got meh in the end of it. Mehmeh City in Isfahan. The site includes chemical industries and specialized in the production of gunpowder under the supervision of Iran's National Security Council. Yeah, they were probably building other stuff. So interesting that a company that makes rocket fuel for ballistic missiles and the China component blew up, right? At least the stuff that China gives them, that's what exploded. So ballistic rocket fuel. And then, explosives also are being taken down. Now, again, they're calling it a firework facility. Sure it is. Sure it is. And sure, Israel's not behind this in any way, shape, or form. Again, this is too many weird coinkydinks in a short period of time, in my personal opinion. Israel resumes pounding Beirut suburbs after a relative quiet. I guess they warned people that they were going to do this, but they're right back into blowing people up. Was it F-35 you're flying? You guys are flying our F-35s? Really? Damn. Wow. Anyway, preliminary reports that 3 bombs have hit the area, and it's believed that 2 different buildings were targeted. They don't exactly know what was in these buildings. I bet they're like fireworks or something stupid. I don't know. They're most likely tied to leadership. I don't know if we've got... I guess they kind of show the explosions. They were saying it was a weapons stash. I didn't really see any secondaries, but maybe. Anywho, so it's really bad, not good. And I'm sure a bunch of toddlers died or something horrible. They'll always say it's like that too. I didn't see anything like that listed yet in the story. Obviously, it's not been written by the left. They got a new product, by the way, with our the THC, the wellness, or TWC. I don't know why I want to keep calling it THC. Maybe I got something on the mind. But TWC, the wellness company, they make this new cool product. Now, again, they make the anti-aging, anti-parasite product. I've talked about it, the ivermectin mebendazole. Very good stuff. Highly recommend it. It's anti-parasitic. It is a way to, it's a 3-month supply. It's a 3-month process. You take 1 pill a day. It's got 25 milligrams of ivermectin and 250 milligrams of the mebendazole. Super awesome way to take out parasites. Also, this company just sent some documentation that's out now. There's a study that actually shows, and I wish I had it up, but there's a study that shows that this mebendazole and ivermectin specifically, actually helps with some cancer types. There's a lot of discussions around parasites and the things that happen inside of our bodies. It's an anti-parasitic, so again, highly recommend. Go to the anti-aging ivermectin mebendazole, 3-month supply. It's a rock star. But this new thing, Recharge, is pretty cool. This is about getting your mind strong. It's going to recharge your mind. So there's 2 products in it. Methylene Blue. It enhances mental clarity and focus and increases ATP production and supports healthy blood flow. Okay, Methylene Blue, which I haven't started using it yet, but I bought some, right? So I got to start putting it in water. I want to try it. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm curious to see what it's like. This is the stuff that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the blue stuff he dips in his water. It's also got urolithin A. That supports healthy mitochondrial functions for enhanced energy levels, stronger muscles, and increased endurance. This product's doing a lot of good stuff. This is actually one I'm going to try out. I don't think I've bought a couple of the kits, but I haven't bought anything for a while from these guys. Need to. This I'm going to try out. Methylene Blue and urolithin. I'm going to check it out. But this is Recharge. Powerful product. Again, it's under anti-aging. See it down here? Recharge. Good stuff's over here. They got some great supplements, great products in general. The med kits, contagion kit, first aid kits, kids kits, travel kits. A lot of really good kits. Highly recommend you look into those, especially the contagion kit that's got the ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and a bunch of other antiviral stuff. It's specifically antiviral. Highly recommend you have at least one of those. It's supposed to be 1 per person, but I think whatever, just look at the pill count when you look at the thing and you'll be like, yeah, me and my wife would be okay if shit hits the fan, and then you can get a refill and just say one of us used it, and it'll be perfect. But they got healthy living. They got all sorts of cool stuff, immune mist, essential oils, really cool stuff, yoga mats, all that good stuff, virtual care, great products. I'm telling you, go to twc.health/OTF. That's twc.health/OTF. healthy decisions. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of great products out there that can make sure you stay healthy. Ukraine hands 15-year jail term to ex-president. This is Viktor Yanukovych. This is the guy that was pro-Russia and didn't necessarily have bad relations with us, but he wasn't real pro-West. Ukraine was doing reasonably well at this time. This was back in 2010 until 2014. That's when he was when he served as president. And when he was ousted during the Western-backed Maidan coup and forced to leave his country, he went to Russia. Well, they've now said they get a 15-year jail term. I assume he's still in Russia. He's not going to be coming back to Ukraine anytime soon. But again, this is how Ukraine treats the president that the West ousted. We ousted this. We caused this. This whole reason that Russia came into Ukraine is 100% the United States' fault. 100% our fault. We made it happen. So any talk otherwise is just absurd. And now it's costing, I don't know, Trump's been saying up to 5,000 people a day. We're actually finding out that Kiev is talking about bringing teens up. So rather than the age 25 for the conscription, and to remember that word, draft basically, rather than being able to conscript you 25 and above, they're actually taking it down to 18, which means they're literally going to kill off an entire generation of males, all for the war. For a war for what? They literally ousted a leader that liked Russia and got along great, and then tried to become all NATO friendly, and then finally got this douche Zelensky in there. And now look where they're at. They've lost land. They've lost people. They're going to lose more people. And we're done funding it. It needs to stop. 100%. So one of the things that Fyodor Lukyanov is saying, and he's an editor-in-chief of Russia. I don't know, he's just a dude that's got opinions, right? Just like anybody else out here. He's probably got some, understanding of the way the Russian people think and work. One of the key deals he's talking about, obviously the land that they've taken, that Russia's taken back from Ukraine, where they were shelling their own people, Crimea, Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporozhia, and I think there's one other place, those places, DPR, I think, whatever. They need to be able to keep those. That's Russia's thing. But the other side of it is Ukraine can't have like a significant military, because they'll use that stuff against them, which will mean that they can't get weapons from America, certainly. But if there's going to be a ceasefire, they can't get weapons from anybody, which means Europe's going to be in a very interesting place because they want to continue. England specifically has even come out, which you can't say Europe because they've been kicked out or chosen to leave. They've exited. But they're going to be in a tough place because the United States can be like, look, you guys can't give them weapons. If you give them weapons, we're not going to support you. You're going against the terms of the agreement. If that's what you feel you need to do, we don't want to be a part of NATO anymore because you guys are about to start World War III, and we're not going to come to your rescue when you do that. And what's going to happen is Europe's going to be like, shit. And that's where the deep state is going to lose. And this, whether NATO has to come down, should come down, or if the threat of it coming down is enough to stop the deep state from doing what they want to do, we'll see. But this war looks like it's coming to an end, and it's going to have some fun shenanigans at the very end of it, obviously. UK plans for Ukraine troop deployment are revealed. So British troops are planning on helping to rebuild Ukrainian armed forces. I don't think this is going to be allowed to happen. We'll see. But the plans are out. Russia's aware of them, and I'm sure Russia has basically said, look, UK and France can't do that. And if they do, we're not really going to have a peace deal, are we? And Russia, or United States gets that. Trump gets that. We know the deep state wants this war to continue. So again, the way for us to kind of get out, I think, and Trump knows this, and he's better at this than I am, but I think it's money, right? Money and the fact that we got the big giant bully standing behind you, right? You got the big monster muscle man behind you, and you're sitting there taunting the dude. Yeah, what are you going to do? Hit me, right? You hit me, my friend's going to knock you out. And the United States is like, we're not going to stand behind you anymore at all. We're out. You guys want to do what you guys want to do, that's cool. If you continue to do what you're doing, you're putting us at risk. So if we got to leave NATO in order to allow you guys to do this, then so be it. We'll take a pause until you guys are done, but we don't want to be a part of this. It's going to be brutal, but it's going to be beautiful. Now, Russia's talking about real denazification is really what kind of needs to happen, or at least in their minds. We can't have them rebuild. Now, what I think this also implies is there's, quote, Nazis or deep state all over the place, all over the world. And the world needs to rid themselves of these people. I think that's what's kind of happening in the big picture. Russia's definitely calling it out, so a lot going on there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has affirmed that he has given his armed forces the ability to decide how they want to attack Pakistan, in what time, what way, and so he's given them a lot of freedom. We'll see what comes from that, but that's concerning in many ways. Whatever. I don't think nuclear weapons are going to be allowed to be used, but boy, oh boy, this is probably more contentious than anything that's happened thus far as I'm concerned. You got two places that freaking hate each other, and it's over a very, very, very contentious area, that Kashmir area, and then its proximity to China. It's just a lot of bad things going on. Officials identify 3 children, 1 adult that were killed in a crash at a youth program in Illinois. Very sad. Even Pritzker came out and said this is horrific, and it is. 3 super young children and then 1 18-year-old all passed away. Authorities identified the driver as 44-year-old Marianne Akers of Chatham, Illinois. They didn't say anything else in this report. I tried to do a dig, see if I could find anything interesting about her. One thing I did find that I found interesting that it poo-pooed, but I actually thought was worth calling out, and that is that she actually used to work for the same school district in the food and nutrition or food department. So she was part of this Ball Chatham school district until 2022. They don't say what happened. She was a food service employee, and this happened in Chatham and it wasn't a school, it was a daycare program. So again, maybe she was drunk. They are doing a toxicology on her that hasn't come out yet. So maybe she was on something and just crashed into the school because she's retarded. Maybe. Very possible. Doesn't seem like there's any nefarious stuff to it, but very, very tragic. 3, again, an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old. Where's the ages? I got them in the story here. An 8-year-old, 7-year-old, and a 7-year-old. 2 7-year-olds and an 8-year-old, and then an 18-year-old. All lost their lives. At the scene, for that matter, too. It's very horrific. A couple fun little tech stories. Amazon launches its first internet satellites to compete against SpaceX's Starlink. I feel like they've got a long way to go to catch up. But again, this might be, part of the new future. Definitely, I'm not surprised that Amazon's doing this. They're making so much freaking money, they don't know what to do with themselves. AWS as well as the regular Amazon shopping, but I think AWS, they make a crap ton of money. So to be able to actually offer internet, it makes a lot of sense. It's kind of a smart move. New entirely Russian-made airliner makes successful test flights. Pretty cool. Domestic avionics, power supply, air conditioning, and other devices were tested on board the MC-21, Rostec has said. It's the latest prototype of Russia's domestically built MC-21 aircraft, assembled using entirely Russian-made components. Kind of cool. Good for Russia. Frankly, I think that's pretty neat. And many would say it looks like a wing and a couple engines, pretty common look for things. Wing seems kind of small, actually, in my opinion. But fat body, good stuff. I'm sure it works. Russian-made engines, of course, with the NG-14. Don't know a lot about their equipment other than it's usually durable as hell. Like, I'm sure they could suck through a few people through one of these engines and it would keep working just fine. It's meant to have rocks go through it, probably. Facebook's parent Meta platform on Tuesday launched a separate app for its Meta AI assistant. It's similar to those offered by Microsoft-backed OpenAI and Alphabet's Google, except it's tied into your Meta platform, which means it's got access to every single thing on your phone. So if you're one of my people that likes to do stupid things and help out the deep state tremendously, highly recommend you try this out on your phone. If you're somebody that's like me, a little paranoid and doesn't like to make things easy for the deep state, under no circumstances, one, should you even have Facebook on your phone. If you do, you've already kind of made a mistake. You can't uninstall it at this point, so it's too late. You have to literally buy a new phone and just never log into it. Or don't use the AI there. Now, I know a lot of stuff doesn't work properly on the web. Yeah, sucks. It's one of the reasons why I stopped logging in. When they wouldn't let me use Messenger or something, I was like, all right, I'm done with you guys. I'm not putting you on my phone. That was like, that was a for sure ain't happening. So whatever. It is what it is. People give away a lot of their information, don't even realize it. And they always claim, I got nothing to hide. Yeah, you do. You got a lot to hide. You don't realize it. The data is what matters. Whatever. We're waking up. Like I was having issues with earlier today. All I can do is the best I can at trying to help you guys get some information. You're not going to agree with me in a lot of cases. In most cases, I'm not always going to agree with the consensus. There's a lot of bullshit going on right now. And, one of the reasons why I like Jordan Sather is because he's constantly fighting the bullshit. And I realize it's a losing battle to a degree, that people need to figure it out on their own. And he, I'm sure, would agree with that. But at the same time, it just bugs him and he does it. And it's pissed off a lot of people. And maybe I don't always agree necessarily with some of the people he attacks, but most of the time I do. So it's kind of part of this experience that we're going through. And so I realize that a lot of people are going to have issues with maybe the fact that my views, like the Big Lino book that I'm reading, where it's talking about some of the Hebrew words, and it's causing me to sort of look at the Christian Bible a little different than I have in the past. This bothers some people tremendously. Again, there's some people that don't like it when you question anything that's running around right now. Any of the theories that are going, if it's flat earth, or if it's we landed on the moon, or if it's vaccines, or there's so many different topics that are so third rail now that it's actually impossible to avoid third rail topics. And so, yeah, I kind of don't care, I guess, right? Like, I'm just going to do the best I can. And if I upset some of you guys, I'm just going to tell you I'm sorry. It's never has been my intention. It will never be my intention. But at the same time, I'm never, ever, ever going to be somebody that just tries to tell you what I think you want to hear. I'm just going to do the best I can to tell you what I think is going on, and maybe share what I think might be some good beneficial things that I think could help. And that's it. Like, and many could say, who are you to do that? And I'm like, I'm going to say, I don't know, I'm Dan Radio style. That's who I am. And I'm trying my best to help us come together rather than splitting us even further. It was one of the things that was tripping me out too. It was like, they've divided us on sex. They've divided us on religion. They've divided us on language. They've divided us on LGBT stuff. They've divided us on work, companies. They've divided us on government. They've divided us everywhere. And it's just fascinating to watch. And it's weird to experience it kind of firsthand sometimes too, but it is part of this process. I love you guys. I really, truly do. I care a lot more than I think most people even appreciate. But I'm going to keep fighting for you. Shoulder to shoulder. Even if you don't want me to, I'm still fighting for you. Even if you believe differently than me, I am still fighting for you. See, that's what's cool about my version of the world. I don't need you to agree with me in order for my version of the world to be okay. There's a lot of people on the other side of the fence that have to have me think the way they think, or I can't be part of their world. That's what's funny. That's divisive. I'm uniting. I don't care what you think or believe. There's room for you on my side of the fence. Please come and hang out. Enjoy the barbecue. Enjoy the jacuzzi. Enjoy the nightlife. Enjoy the friends. And that's what I try to bring to the table. A bunch of people that aren't necessarily like-minded, but similar-hearted. And that's what this is about, growing forward. It's about finding similar-hearted people to come together and work together and help build a better world. And that's why, like my show, Law of One stuff I'm doing, it's why it's so important to me. Because it's getting people to empower themselves, and through that empowerment, they become more powerful individuals as humans. And so what that means essentially is when you think and feel and do, it's the equivalent of like 1,000 other people thinking, saying, and doing. That's how powerful you become. And it's not that it's the power you're looking for, because with great power comes great responsibility. But with the knowledge comes great power. And that's why not everybody's ready for it. There's a lot of things that are happening. I love you guys the best I can, and I hope you know that. I'll tell you this much, no matter what, where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.